Hey, welcome to Failcraft. I'm Hammy as always, hope you're well and good, and it is Wednesday, none other than the 22nd of July. That means it is Tavern Brawl Day. There's a big Hearthstone stream, but more about that while we're playing this evening. For now, we're jumping into Tavern Brawl number 6. And what do we have this week? We have, it looks like Heart of the Sunwell, and the Sunwell has unlimited power, and that power is yours. Start each game with 10 mana and see what you can do with it. Absolutely amazing. So we're going to jump in and play. We'll play maybe 1 or 2 games of this to start with and see what we can do. Right, if we start with infinite mana, what can we do with infinite mana? We want a big deck with lots of big threats that's going to cause a whole heap of problems. I'm thinking dragons, I'm thinking big late game madness, I'm thinking things you don't even need to ramp. I think a dragon paladin could be a lot of fun, and we can use some of the abilities to make the cards, the dragon cards, a lot less expensive. That's absolute madness. I want big and powerful stuff as soon as possible. Absolutely amazing. Right, so what kind of decks would you like to see? And hey to voice, hey to caster, hey to fix it, all of you joining us, good to see you. Right, so if you could make a deck and it had absolutely no mana restrictions, what would you go for? Big welcome to Kiki Ubo. And welcome Kiki. Right, so we are building a deck and we're going to be going for, I don't know, we can just play as much mana as we like. So we want to go nuts with big cards. I like dragon consorts. I'm going to go for some kind of dragony late game deck. Freeze Mage, says Voice of Pleb. That sounds pretty fun. I could go for some of that. I like Bolvar. Whenever a friendly minion dies when this is in your hand, game 1 attack. Just ways of flooding the board immediately. You could have an Uber Rush as well, let's not forget that. There are going to be some real nasty rush decks where people just throw everything down turn 1. So we shouldn't discount horrible early game rushes as well. We're probably going to have to counter against ridiculous horrible early game rushes too. I'm actually going to throw in some Consecrates and Inequality. This is probably a little bit of circular thinking because there are certainly going to be people who just try and get everything big out. But let's try and go for a theme of getting out big dragons as soon as possible. Add 2 big game hunters, says Kiki Ubo. It's a very, very good call because of course we're going to be seeing all kinds of madness and nastiness, so we need control, very much so. Control will be important. Dragons, if you're holding a dragon, destroy legendary. I think that feels good. I think that feels very good indeed. Let's throw in Dock Boom for fun and see how much of this we can just throw down. Now the real question is, do we try and play lots of small minions with that 10 mana immediately, or do we then just sort of jump in and try and just play big minions immediately? So I'm going for the big minions immediately style. I have a feeling this may be slightly misplaced, but let's see how it goes. I'd like it to work. I have a feeling that we're just going to get rushed by lots of people, but we should give it a go. Come on, I just want to remove those. Forgetting the basics. We've got 2 big game hunters. We could do with some more control. Big tanks immediately. That could be fun too. I'm going to go ahead and have equalities, Holy Knights. I think another equality might actually be quite useful. Should we go for 2 equalities? Let's drop those in. Swords of Justice, summon a minion, 1/1 using durability. You don't even need to survive the early game, really, do you? Or do you? I like Orders for a bit of negating our opponent. Ooh, 2 big game hunters. I draw a card, deal damage equals, so I draw a card, 2 deaths for each minions that died. Whenever a friendly minion dies, Mechs, Divine Shields, Avenging Wrath could be useful. Throw those down. Maybe some tanky mid-game minions. I'm thinking Lay on Hands. I feel that some tanks could still be handy. And you do need some ways of like bridging to the late game. Getting multiple dragons down will be pretty good. Let's go for some True Silvers. I just feel they might be handy. Not entirely sure why. And then let's perhaps go and look for some tanks as well. Righty then. Oh, Grim Patrons. Immediate Grim Patron. Let's watch for that. Maybe there's going to be some kind of super everyone get in here type deck. That would be very interesting to see. Okay, so I'm going to grab some tanks just to see if we can get something on the table. Is there anything big that we'd like to throw in? You guys got any requests? Now's a great time for them. Giving your other minions 1/1. Do you know what? There's some reasonable minions here. Kel'Thuzad. Why not? I think my mistake is that I'm not only going to be able to play one of these every turn. and that could be our downfall. Are we going to have a big full hand? One less for each other minions on the battlefield. Sea Giant could be fun. I'm going to take in a couple of Sea Giant. I feel that the battlefield's going to get quite full quite quick. Hope it doesn't break down to ogres. Big welcome to Black Hamlet as well. Okay, so we're almost ready. One more card. What are we going to grab as our early game card? Do we want something paladin-y? I feel as though more table just weighs 2 damage to all minions with death rattle. Early game tanking, shielded minibot. Something to trade in the early game. Maybe a cog hammer. I think I like the thought of noble sacrifice. We could go nasty and grab a couple of Avengers. Where's Avenge? I've lost Avenge. Where's it gone? Is Avenge cheap? Avenge is cheap. Come, shall we get 2 Avengers in? Give a random friendly minion 3/2. Okay, right. Let's see how this goes. Here we go. So, well, if you've just joined, this is Heart of the Sunwell. With 10 mana. Let's go. Priests and mind games become insane, says Black Cat. That is, yeah, that's going to be mad. Right, let's see what happens here. Oh dear. Okay, so I've gone for the loads of big minions approach. I'm not entirely sure this is going to work. I can play Nefarian turn 1. I can play Malagos turn 1. I can play Boom turn 1. A turn 1 Nefarian feels too good not to do, I think. Okay, oi, right, let's see what happens. The coin becomes pointless, pretty much. Down goes Ragnaros. Alright, I see what you've done there. And with the Dagger Mastery. Do you know what, I didn't even put Ragnaros in my deck. What was I doing? Right, well I can mitigate the effects of let's do that then. Right, I'm going to try and get some stuff down for Doc Boom. Did not even put Ragnaros in my deck. How did I not put Ragnaros in my deck? That would have been a sensible plan, I think. So you're going to see Big Game Hunter coming up. Very good call by Kiki saying Big Game Hunter. No, just a straight up assassinate. If mana is no option, why don't you just destroy stuff? Can destroy one of those. Dagger Mastering comes again. Just summoning a dagger for the sake of summoning a dagger. Interesting. Boombot comes in. Go on, do some damage too. Oh, 4 to the face. Are we going to get... No, another 4 to the face. Okay. In comes Nefarian, Sea Giant. So what do I really want to do here? Summon all friendlies that died this turn. I can do some stuff. I kind of want to fill the table as much as I can. 2 spells to my hand from my opponent's class. That might just die. Or I can sort of fill the table and then drop a Sea Giant as well. I'm going to try and fill up with a Sea Giant and things like that. Oh, it's just going to be a big burst fest. Go, go, go. I'm just trying to see if I can grab table control here. In comes a sap. Oh, returning a minion to opponent's hand. All of the stuff just being thrown out there. Down goes Sylvanas. Very good call. What's Rag going to destroy? Ragnaros was a good call. Sylvanas can mean that my opponent can steal some stuff. Oh, only the 1 damage to Ragnaros. Another 8 to the face. Deary. Right, so can you, Sarah? I'm just going to take some damage to the face here. This is going to be somewhat problematic. Let's go for a Nefarian. Why not? Okay, conceal, giving my minion stealth to next turn. Actually means I'm just going to take 8 to the face. Sylvanas could steal something, which I don't really want to happen either. So let's just do that. Might well be that we're doomed now, but we'll see how we go. So I feel this deck could have worked, but obviously leaving Ragnaros out was a very silly idea. we should have got stuck in with a bit more of that. So I think we can see this, as we discussed, there's going to be kind of two themes here. You can either throw out loads of big minions early, or you can probably rush your opponent with a lot of small stuff. And if I'd have rushed my opponent with a lot of small stuff, we would have probably done pretty well here. Am I going to take 8 to the face? No, Nefarian is going to die. Assassinate is going to help me out. Avenging Wrath is not going to destroy everything on the board, so I kind of have to assassinate Nefarian. So if I do that, my opponent's not going to nick anything. Oh, freezer. I can then throw down an Assassinate. I can't even Avenging Wrath on top of an Assassinate. So pretty much doomed, which is a bit of a shame. This deck could have had some legs, but I think that stealing the spell was a little bit too late. So that is us for this game. But there's a little look at that Tavern Brawl. What we'll just quickly do is we'll maybe sneak in another game in a second, but for those of you on YouTube, that's just a quick preview of this week's Tavern Brawl. Not the best deck I built there, just off the top of my head. It can work, as you can see. We got some of our big cards out. Maybe I'll give another game in a second, but if you're on YouTube, we're going to record some more of these, so do have a look. I'll put a link to it in the top left, and if you fancy subscribing, head up the top right. So that's a little preview of this week's Tavern Brawl. If you're on stream, don't go away. We're going to be doing a little bit more for the next 15 minutes or so. You can come find us if you're on YouTube, twitch.com/TV even /Felcraftcast. We try and stream on the schedule in the bottom left and tweet on @FelcraftCasts when we do. Otherwise, throw us a little follow on YouTube. Then you can get all of our videos. We try and do 3-4 Hearthstone videos a week, as well as Heroes of the Storm, other Blizzard games, and a few other bits as well. So thanks very much for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, hopefully see you soon. Do subscribe, like, let us know what you'd like to see more of. And if you're on Twitch, don't go away. But this is Felcraft, and I've been Hammy. Take it easy.